Good morning, everyone. Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. Another gorgeous day. Hudson and I just got back from our walk. It's gorgeous. Might be a little bit warm later, but it's beautiful now. So what I've been playing with is a foil technique using duct tape, heater duct tape, DUCT tape, and stencils, and our texture paste, and then embossing and putting a patina on it. So this is what we're going to play with today, okay? I'm not going to talk anymore. We're going to dive right in and look at the supplies we'll need to play with this, okay? All right, see you on the table. Okay, welcome back. This is a close-up of this, the steampunk foiled piece, embossed. I did it on an old cigar box. Today I'm going to be playing on an old book, putting a new front on an old book. But this is what it looks like. So let's go through the supplies, shall we? Oh, these are some cards that I'm playing with today as well. I started these as a study in class this past week, and so I will finish these and show them to you as well. So these are in progress. Kind of fun. This one I haven't even started yet. This is a Banksy image, and I made a stencil out of it, so I'm going to play with that a little bit today. You will need your texture paste, palette knife, stencil. Any stencil will do. We're going to use that with the texture paste. Glue dots. Anything that you can find for texture. This is a piece of lace that I've used as a stencil, so it's been spray painted many times, so it's nice and sturdy. So I'm going to take a hunk of that and use that on my book cover. This is a piece of corrugated cardboard where one of the skins has been taken off. I'm going to take a hunk of that. This is actually a plastic placemat, like a lacy placemat, and so I'm going to just grab a hunk out of this for the book as well. Here's the book. I'm gluing a focal point down on the book. I like the focal points, then I can bring the embossing to the edge of that. All right. You will need blending tools. This is a clay carving tool. All right, we're going to use that to emboss. If you don't have those things, you can use a Q-tip. Q-tip works just fine. This is an old stirrer that I've used in my pour painting. I think I'm going to break this in half and put this on the book. I'm going to put these little washers on the book someplace. And these are actually sewing tools, implements. One makes little holes and the other one makes dots. So I'm going to try to play with those on the embossing process as well. You'll need some scissors. This is drywall tape. I have just absolutely fallen in love with it. I try to find the edge of it far too many times and it takes far too long, so I just stuck a piece of cardboard on that. But this is drywall tape. It is sticky on one side. We're going to use a piece of that. And then this is the heating duct tape, D-U-C-T. All right, it's different than duct tape, D-U-C-K. D-U-C-T, all right, and it is sticky on one side. It has paper on it and it is adhesive on one side. So it's very, very fun to work with. Some black paint. This is just some black acrylic paint, and you'll need a paintbrush to apply it with, and then also a paper towel to rub it off with. Okay, so I cut a piece of the drywall tape and I cut the duct tape into smaller pieces, and we'll be applying those one at a time. All right, so I'm going to bring the book back. and decide where things are going to go. You can use buttons, you can use Scrabble pieces, you can use absolutely anything for texture. If it's something like a Scrabble piece, what I might do is take a little dollop of hot glue gun and stick it in place wherever you want it, and then you don't have to worry about it moving. The drywall tape does have adhesive on it, so I'm going to stick that down. I won't worry about that moving. These little guys, I won't worry about them moving because the duct tape will hold them in place as we go. All right, so I'm going to take a moment and bond with my book, decide where I'm going to put the embellishments for the embossing, okay? So we'll be back. Before we dive right into the structure on the book cover, I just want to show you my texture paste. Now I made this texture paste over 2 weeks ago, and it is still very, very workable. So I did use that on it's dry around the edges, but that's okay. All this stuff in the center is still quite juicy. Let me put that back in the water. So I did use that on my book front. And there is the skeleton of what we're going to be playing with. Alright, so I used the clock structure, or I'm sorry, the clock stencil. This is a Tim Holtz product. Use that with the texture paste. The focal point is glued down. Alright, this is a piece of that plastic doily, plastic placemat. I ended up putting things down with glue dots, worked perfectly. So there's that. These are a couple of little washers. This one was probably it was plastic, so I just cut it in half so I can have it on the edge. This is something I found on the walk. These I found in my husband's workshop. Here's our corrugated cardboard here and here. Once again, down with the glue dot. And then here's a piece of the drywall tape, which will make a nice texture. Now I'm going to take the pieces of the duct tape, D-U-C-T, and what I do is I just kind of kink the corner and then it separates. And then you just glue it down. It's good and strong, so you can really put it in place. All right, and then I'm just going to keep working up the book cover, covering everything. And you will want some overlap for texture as well. The texture paste dries quite quickly. I'll go up here and show you how I cover that up. So just kink that corner and then it separates. So where this plastic lace is, I'll just lay that down. Fold it around the corner. One more, then I will finish covering this so you don't have to watch me do the whole thing. That would be monotonous. Overlap a little bit, doesn't have to be even. Then fold it around the edge of the book. Okay? All right, go grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. I'm going to fill this up with the duct tape. All right, so once again, piece of the plastic lace doily, washer, half a washer, 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 corrugated cardboard, This is a stencil with our yummy texture paste, focal point, drywall tape, which is so fun, and then another piece of that cardboard. All right? All right, go grab your coffee. We'll be back. Okay, I'm going to bring you back and show you just how I'm going to finish this. This stuff is so fun to work with, and it's so nice and sticky that you don't have to worry about whether it's going to go down or not. It just really does. It's just wonderful. So continue overlapping them. You don't want them too straight. A little bit of offness is a good idea. I took some sandpaper. That postcard that I used for my focal point is actually a Tim Holtz postcard, and I will try and find the link to that and put it in the notes for you in case you decide to use that. But I took some sandpaper to it so that it didn't look too brand new, which I like. All right, all the foil is down. Just go over it with your finger so you can kind of find your designs in there. You can start to see them a little bit. And then we're going to go in with some different tools and really embellish it. I love this drywall tape. So I'm going to grab that, oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put some lines in it. So this is the pattern thing. Oh. That's fun. Can you see what's going on there? Little holes, those will pick up the paint. Well, they're not really holes, they're more divots than holes. I like that look. That's fun. Could get carried away with that, I think. Okay. All right, I'm going to grab the clay carving tool, and I'm just going to start going over the drywall tape so you can see what's going to happen. So I'm just going to go in here. Can you see that texture coming up? Love that. Now the carving tool will leave a little bit of texture all on its own, so it's up to you how many places you want to use that. But that is the beginning of our texture. Pretty cool. Now I'm getting up into the lace, the plastic doily. And you can see that rising up. So take your time with this. Get in all the crevices. The crevices are important because that's what's going to be a little reservoir for the paint, for the patina, okay? So just go over your whole thing. If you want it more smooth, that's where the blending stump is going to come in. All right, because that'll make it, you won't get as much texture. So you can go in there with that blending stump. I happen to like as much texture as I can get, so I am more prone to use the carving tool. But whatever you are comfortable with. Now we're getting into the clock there, the stencil. I'm going back to this, man. I like it nice and deep. And couldn't I get carried away? And couldn't I keep you here all day watching me? Why, yes I could. But I'm not going to. I'm going to emboss in your absence. But that's the beginning. All right, let me play, let me emboss. We'll be back. Got my brush. All Alright, we're going to start off with this amount of black paint. And we are just going to paint that duct tape. Make sure it gets in all your little grooves there. Add a little bit more on this side. It'll dry a little bit while you finish it, but you don't want it too dry because you're going to be sweeping most of it away. Just make sure it's in those grooves the way you want it. And take it down the spine a little bit. I'm sure we'll be doing something else with the spine down the road. Okay, coverage looks pretty good from this angle. Now a piece of paper towel. And you're just going to go in here and start rubbing some of that black paint off. And that's forming the patina. Oh ho ho ho! I love that drywall tape texture in there. Very fun. Pretty cool, huh? And that is it. Ta-da! I'm going to do those little tags and then I'll show you those. These are the tags that we used for the studies in class. And I'm going to do these up real quick and then I'll show you. Just going to show you one more time on here, kind of a review. I just spread the black acrylic paint. It's not anything special. It just happens to be what I had in my inventory. Okay, so I put the acrylic paint on there. It dries pretty quickly, of course, because it's acrylic. Then I'm just going to, whoop, Q-tip, whoop, Q-tip. Then I'm going to go in there and rub some of it away. You can see it pick up the texture. Nice and uneven. Beautiful. So there's the one study that we did in class. Here's the other study that we did in class. Very fun. Here's the book that we did together today. All right, with kind of steampunky metal embossing patina. All right, and I just want to remember the tags that we made. These are the tags we made with our texture paste. And so I still have, I'm still working on, of course, a altered book. And here's a couple places, little pockets. And so I want to put something in a pocket. Like that, ribbons hanging out. I'll put some ribbons on this and I'll pop that in that side and it'll be a nice addition to my altered book. So, alright guys, go play, go create, go play, go have fun. Hopefully this was fun for you. It's always fun for me. Alright, see you next time. Subscribe if you haven't.